Oh, thank you, Angie, and hello, everybody. Okay, so let's start as usual with Zendoo, as we have a lot of updates also here. Okay, regarding main chain backward transfer requests. After the final code review, we identified some changes, and all of them have been applied. And currently, we are just let me say finalizing the changes in the unit tests. But let me say the main changes were already done. And moreover, we integrated in this pull request some of the changes that were already necessary for the seize, sidechain withdrawal implementation that were already done on that branch, and these will make the merge of these two pull requests of these two branches much easier, because seize, sidechain withdrawals is going to be the next pull request to finally reviewed. And always regarding Zendoo, customizable certificate fields that pull request. The first level of code review was performed, and the changes are already done. So also this part is ready for the final code review. And the last thing regarding Zendoo is the keep track of the cumulative sidechain block transaction committed tree. We're not going to details what it is, but it's very useful for how to say, proving in a easier and in a more efficient way something that happened in the history of the main chain regarding sidechains. And the first level of code review also here was already performed, and the changes are also applied. And this is another part that is currently waiting for the final code review. So we have, as you can see, many of the pull requests that are almost ready, and now we're, let me say, doing the final code review on all of them, and let me say, merging all of them. Okay, let's now switch on the SDK, and in particular regarding the base fee scheme. And we have completed the implementation of it, and currently we are working on the implementation of let me say, the processing of multiple certificates with different qualities. So in the previous beta version, we had just one certificate per epoch. Now for the full Lados and Zendoo model, we can have multiple certificates for the same sidechain, for the same epoch, based on, let me say, qualities. And so we have implemented the management of them in the main chain, and obviously the SDK must be, let me say, aligned to be able to provide them and to manage them. And okay, let's switch now to the proving system. So for what regard the proving system, we finished the implementation of the multi-point, multi-poly batching and tested it. And also the first level of code review was performed, and also these branches ready for final review. Proceeding with the proving system, and in particular the finalization of the proof. So the batch verification of D-logger parts. So okay, as you know, main chain need to verify the proof for each certificate for each sidechain at the end of each epoch, no? And the biggest part of the time needed to verify a proof, I mean, the Marlin-like proof that for our proving system is the multiscalar multiplication that is one of the most expensive part in terms of computational power. So we to optimize the verification of it, we can do some pre-computation, let's say, or better, the miner can do some pre-computation and let's say batch some of the data of these proofs, even if they are coming from different sidechains. And so these allows the other nodes not to perform for each sidechain a multiscalar multiplication, but even just do one single multiscalar multiplication for all of the sidechains, and even don't do the batching by himself. So in this way, we will concentrate some of the most expensive part, I mean, with just one multiscalar multiplication. And moreover, we are even optimizing further by batching, doing letting the batch to be done to the from the miner. And this is something that we are working on, and we have already some very interesting results in terms of performances improvements, and I will provide more details I think on the next Weekly Insider. Okay, the last element is also regarding the proving system, and in particular the endo-mul gadget and rep gadget. And so we're also working on the implementation of these, and I mean, this consists in an optimized way for circuits to do scalar multiplication with less constraints. But this is something that is still in the initial development phase. And probably this is all for today. Back to you, Angie.
Awesome. Thank you, Alberto, for the engineering updates. Let's proceed now with Jonathan to give us the growth updates.
Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. So a couple fun updates today. So the last time that we met, I mentioned that we hit a milestone with Sphere by Horizen, that we hit 150,000 downloads. Well, it's only been 14 days, but we've already seen 3.5% growth on that number, which is really amazing. In the last, let's say, week, for example, we've seen a further explosion in the number of new users that we're seeing on the community hub. In fact, on February 19th, we hit probably a record in single day new users. It was about double our daily growth rate, which is about double our daily growth rate about a month ago. So, I mean, and it keeps going up. I have to keep readjusting our baseline of daily growth numbers because it keeps increasing so rapidly. I think at its peak, it's something like 6x what it was about 45 days ago, which is really cool to see. On the community hub, we're working on a secret new reward, a secret new HODL bonus, which I can't talk about right now, but just know that we are continuing to improve that, and we'll have something really fun for everybody. We're seeing so much new growth that we're focusing this week and next week mostly on back-end infrastructure improvements, trying to keep up with the increase in traffic and make sure that our site is fast and functional. And we're continuing to do some website improvements for Horizen's website, aside from just the community hub, including the heat page, the exchanges page, the sidechain page, the research page, and a couple others. And that's it for me today. Thanks.
Thank you, Jonathan. Let's continue with Dean to give us some of the BD and operations updates.
Hey, everybody. So yeah, as usual, a lot of interesting things happening on the BD side. And so first we'll turn it over to Vano to talk about what's happening with the foundation. And then following that, we'll have Caspers talk about what's happening on the sidechain side. So Vano, turn it over to you.
Thanks, Dean. Hello, everyone. So today we are happy to announce that Zen has been integrated with Copper. Copper is the institutional-grade custodian and offers services such as custody, trading, and settlement for its customers, and Zen is supported on all these services. They already have more than 100 clients, and this integration really opens up doors for more Zen integrations in the future, as having such custodian on our site supporting us makes it far easier, for example, for exchanges to integrate and custody Zen. And obviously, it is not limited with just exchanges. It allows any type of business that wants to interact with our cryptocurrency to do so in a secure fashion. That's all from me. Now, Kasper's floor is yours.
Thank you, Ivano. Hi, everyone. So regarding sidechain partnerships, I just wanted to mention again that because we had so much success with our outreach campaign, we paused reaching out to new projects to focus part of that time on our existing leads in the pipeline. The good news is that last week we signed one new MOU and another one has gone out for signatures. As you already guessed, I cannot disclose who these projects are, but can tell you that they are both within the top 150 of CoinMarketCap. So two really interesting partners. I know that our marketing team is already working on the joint press releases to share some of these news with our community. Other than that, and I'm apparently allowed to say this, given that some of the beans were already spilled during the previous calls, I'm spending most of my time working on our wrapped token project that I'm really, really excited about. The PR on this is ready, and we are just planning for the right time to release it to the public. In addition, we are also working on a growth campaign around that together with Jonathan and Pipeflare. This will be launched to incentivize adoption and use of this wrapped token. Really, this project will open up a swathe of new utility for Zen, our users, and the ecosystem as a whole. So lots of interesting things are shaping up and will soon be shared in more detail by the marketing team. That's it from me. Thank you, and back to you, Angie.
Great. Thank you, guys. Let's continue with Lucy to give us the marketing updates.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. So I have quick updates today, but we have been very busy. In the past couple of weeks, working on not just one or two, but a stream of very exciting partnership announcement. Like Casper just said, I too cannot review too much right now, but we will be rolling them out very, very soon. I promise, as early as this week. Our BD team has been working on these partnerships for a long time, and these partnerships will bring very significant value to our ecosystem and benefit our users. So I can't wait to share them with you, and then I think our community will be very happy. So definitely stay tuned. And speaking of partnerships, we released a partnership with LTO Network in December, and we are building through the partnership we are building a dedicated private blockchain on Zendoo to provide enhanced privacy and additional anchorage for LTO's high volume user transactions. So we are going to have a live AMA with them this Friday. So the AMA will be live streamed on our YouTube channel, and then we will have our Rob and Rick Smith, the CEO of LTO Network, answering any questions you may have about this partnership. And then also our favorite Angie will be the moderator for this event. So make sure they tune in on Friday. And before then, we will start collecting questions from the community on the social media leading up to the event. And lastly, we saw a really big activity spike on Twitter, this weekend, and wondered what that was. And then we looked into it and then realized that last Saturday was Love Your Pet Day. Okay, so many people shared a picture of their beloved furry friend, furry family with us to celebrate this fun day. I want to thank everyone who shared this pure happiness with us. And on that note, I think our next breakthrough, groundbreaking milestone should be building the best pet chain on Zendoo. That's it from me. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Lucy. Let's continue with Rosario for Protein Engineering updates.
Pet chain, that's the goal. So hi, Team Horizen. As we approach the end of the first quarter, I'm assessing the positions that will be needed in the upcoming quarters, especially as we have some relief in budget. But that's something that I'm looking forward to doing, because we do have a lot of additional activities that need support from the product and engineering side. I had previously mentioned this, but I just wanted to highlight it again, that the PM team continues to refine our project definition and project control methods with the purpose of identifying risks before they become problems. And we've created a first draft of a forecasting tool. So that's pretty amazing. And we will continue refining that effort and so that we can have better control methods and better communications as we see any slippages coming forward, or opportunities that we can recover schedule. As from the Horizen Labs perspective, so with Celsius, we are building an independent blockchain that audits the Celsius Bitcoin proof of liquidity using zero-knowledge proofs to verify and validate the transactions without revealing any information from the source of the transaction. And the Celsius sidechain for milestone 1 is nearly complete, and we are on track for delivery at the end of March. During this testing period, Paolo found a bug that he's currently troubleshooting and fixing alongside with Maurizio. And just as a reminder, we have a total of 3 milestones for the sidechain delivery of this proof of concept. I'm also working with the Celsius team to build out the website that will contain the audit chain data. And that's going to be really exciting, because the Celsius community and our community will be able to showcase and look at that audit chain. From a separate topic, game chain. So we had previously reported that we are 80% complete with the sidechain, which it has not moved. We are still 80% complete. Luigi set up a multi-node configuration, and he's just identified a proper configuration for the game chain node stability, and was able to find some issues that were turned over to the Zendy and SDK team. Once the nodes have appropriately reached their epochs, there will be the port will be opened for the game developer to test the sidechain before we fully turn it over to them. And the game developer is making a lot of progress implementing the game chain JavaScript library into Unity and testing the game appropriately. And from a sidechain explorer, the design is nearly complete, and Marco is adding some feedback that Alberto had provided, so that is moving along well. That is it for now. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rosario. Rolf, would you like to add any comments or updates?
I think it's exciting, all the progress that we're making, that Alberto talked about. The amount of downloads and interest that Jonathan spoke about is pretty amazing, and the Twitter activity that Lucy talked about is pretty cool also. One of the things that happened in the last 2 weeks, y'all probably know, but our Zendy USD price exceeded our previous all-time high, which is a big deal, and that brings more attention. It also brings, for those of you that were around almost 4 years ago when this happened previously, sometimes when the price goes up, it comes back down, and people that bought it at a high price and it's now at a lower price jump into our different communities and are unhappy about that. And sometimes it's difficult to hear that, and sometimes it's difficult to deal with that. But I think everybody can see over the work that we've done that we have a really good plan. We have the ability to execute on that plan. We think in longer terms, in years, and accomplishments, and partnerships, and getting things done. And price doesn't always directly reflect the utility, the usage, everything else. So we can't promise that the price is going to come back up. And then you notice we don't really talk about the price much on this call. I thought I'd bring it up just because I remember some of those folks last time that came into our Discord or Slack at the time and were very unhappy. And so just wanted to give you all a heads up on that. And I think everything's going great. Appreciate being part of the team. Thanks.
Thank you, Rolf. I'll pass the word now to Rob to give us the last updates and also the Q&A session.
Thank you, Angie. Let's see. So I do have some updates, and I prepped a little special topic to talk about. I don't know if I'll get to the special topic because I don't want to cut off the Q&A. But okay, I'll just say there's so much going on right now. It's an extremely exciting time for the project, and I can't wait for some of the big news to be released that we're talking about, because it does extend the project in a number of very interesting ways in terms of utility, participating on some of the hot stuff that's going on with other chains, and then also just the product stuff that we're doing is just remarkable, with in such a short period of time being able to take the beta SDK and combine that with the BD efforts and strategy and actually getting out there and getting people to sign up for these POCs. And then getting a product team together in short order with limited resources. Remember, we were doing this months ago when we had extremely limited resources, and being able to spin up just such a highly competent team to start carving out these POCs right away and just dive right in. That is humbling to see, especially as these POCs are maturing to the point where we're getting ready to hand them over to our partners and prospective users of the system. In the very near term. Anyway, so all of that is fantastic, but the reality that we find ourselves in is that we are still not necessarily constrained on budget as much as we were, but constrained on just talent in-house to be able to execute all of the really cool things that we're doing. And more importantly, all of the things that we know that we need to do. So what I can say quite happily is that Horizen Labs, at least, is just released recently. If you go to the Horizen Labs LinkedIn page, you can see a whole bunch of open positions in the Milan office that we have. And this ranges from cryptographers to full stack engineers, front-end engineers, technical document writer, and a variety of some other roles in between, based out of Milan. Now, what I can say from the foundation's perspective is that we are looking to open up a few developer evangelist roles within the foundation directly. And this is to work on the problem of catalyzing open source contribution. And really, what I see as the next big thing that we need to get good at is carving out productive development opportunities for other developers that aren't part of our team or any of the teams that you hear presenting on this call, from the foundation to Horizen Labs, to Pipeline, and just getting developers from outside this the ecosystem today. And for instance, like these Horizen Early Adopter Program developers that have registered with us, getting them productive tasks to work on that range in the gambit from simple things, or relatively simple things that would be short-term tasks that they could do, to deploying the SDK in interesting ways, to building modules for the SDK, and then doing other things that would be open source contributions for the ecosystem. We need talent in-house to do nothing but curate these types of opportunities, code review them, test contributions, and so forth, so that we can get good at flowing funds outside of the current team to other developers, so we can expand our ecosystem. Anyway, so there's a lot going on there, and you will see, stay tuned for the developers out there, these open positions from the foundation. And again, check out the open positions for Horizen Labs if you're interested in joining this fantastic team in the ecosystem. Okay, so speaking of governance here, as we talk about growing the ecosystem, it is important that we think about, in particular, this is something that I had on the top of my mind for as we expand and deliver on key technologies this year and key products, going into next year and really laying the foundations now for proper governance that we've been doing over the years, with growing out proper governance with an independent board on the foundation, to building different companies within this ecosystem so that we can decentralize just from the foundation. Now we need to take this to the next step and focus more on ecosystem governance. In particular here, I want us to get rolling on the great Zen improvement proposal system, the ZenIP system that Jonas previously worked on. And we have this great system put out there on GitHub that you can check out for a process with different editors within the ecosystem, so that people can submit contributions of proposals to the system that they want to see, maybe that they want to work on. And we have a process, just a general governance process, so that the community can see very openly what kinds of things are being proposed and just have a vigorous conversation around them. So at this point, what I want us to focus on is just getting the ZenIP process moving. And we're going to do this with the current Zendu system that we're building now. Even though it's in process, we're building it. We're going to formalize this into a ZenIP, at least high level, so that the community can just see what this type of process will look like. More importantly, for future contributions and future potential proposals, we want to at least seed the system and get it working so that we can move forward over the next year in better ecosystem governance. It's just more open governance and more vocal contribution. In particular, as we catalyze the open source developers with getting dev evangelists out there, or getting them contributing, getting HD up and running. What I foresee is I see a lot more developers coming into the ecosystem, especially as we get Zendu live on mainnet and the SDK matured so that people are building with it. There will be a lot more engineering talent in here, and we want to get them productively working on our overall governance. So guys, I think I'm going to stop here. I'm going to leave the special topic for next time, which is really just going deep into why public blockchains are valuable and how Zendu is such a game changer. I'll reserve that. We can open it now for Q&A.
Great. Thank you, Rob. And thank you, everyone, for contributing with your questions. So the first question is, how will Zendu sidechain work when Lados is not implemented? Isn't Lados the proof of stake consensus?
It is, but maybe this would be a good opportunity for Alberto to come in and talk a little bit about specifically the Lattice implementation.
Okay. Yes, sure, Rob. Okay. First, let me say the Zendu delivery of mainnet is including all the changes that complete the implementation of the Zendu design. Okay, so this doesn't imply that all the sidechains have to use the Latus model. So you can on the sidechain side, you can create you can use your own kind of consensus, and this doesn't, and the fact that we are delivering on mainnet that's the full the full Zendu implementation, this doesn't mean that we have to use the Latus consensus on the other side. So we will do the delivery in these two parts. The first part where we publish the changes for the mainnet, and even with the SDK, with the current SDK, with some changes in the proven system, you will be able to provide a proof. For an epoch, because for example, will not be the full recursive proof. You can provide a proof that is not the full proof of the whole epoch, but for example, it could be K of n signature proof. So in this way, we will be able to have a two-step delivery where we have first the full Zendu main chain implementation delivered, and then the full Latus implementation on the others. On a next phase. And so, but in any case, you will be able to run a sidechain using, for example, as a proof, the proof of K of n signature. That is currently the one that we are using on the sidechain side. I hope that this explained why the two things are decoupled. And the system itself is made to be decoupled.
Great. Thank you, Alberto. Next question is, how do we get developers to build on Horizen when there are so many competitors?
Well, this is a great question, and I think goes to some of the main points that I just made. We need to not only just throw money at problems, but to think intelligently at how we're going to actually curate productive opportunities. Because Also, what we don't want is we don't want just a flood of developers doing things that don't necessarily matter. It might be dilutive and might just, quite frankly, be distracting. What we want is we want to catalyze productive contribution by making sure that we carve out very specific things, at least at first, that people can work on, fund these things, actually put our own developer talent towards working with the open source community so that we can work hand in hand with each other. Then over time, we scale this up. And by over time, I really don't mean years. Over time, I want this to move quickly, but I want to get a good baseline for how we're going to productively work in a more open context. So there's that. There's just like HDE as an example. There's Heap as another example where we have all these developers registered with Heap. So we need to hire these key personnel in-house, these developer evangelists. We need to get HDE more active. We need to put more bounties, more resources towards the HDE. And then I think we need to do a better job opening the governance from the developer's perspective so that developers can come in and help steer the ship, not just like a lot of developers don't want to come in and just do what they're told. They want to actually contribute towards steering this project in a direction that everyone's excited about and help be part of that. So I think all of these things go hand in hand. And we are kind of, the way we do business is we bite off a little chunk that we can work on that's tractable. And then if that works, then we're going to scale that up pretty quickly.
Thank you, Rav. Next and last question is, what are the benefits of having a lot of nodes versus blockchains that have 8, 20, 100, etc.?
I mean, there's different ways to look at it. We didn't build out this node system just to be able to claim that we have a high node count. So from just a technical perspective, of course, full nodes or verifying transactions or validating transactions on the chain, and you have more points of connection all around the world. That's good. There's obviously very rapidly diminishing returns to going beyond some number of nodes, and we're probably going well beyond that point of diminishing returns in terms of just like the technical reality. I'll tell you the forward-looking reality that we were building this for was actually the sidechain system, where we have a marketplace for nodes that can choose to operate a whole bunch of sidechains that we envisioned for this community. And that's really the big bang for the buck. So we wanted to build out this large and subsidized by the block subsidy network of potential candidates to run sidechains, to act as block forges for sidechains. And that's really the goal of what we're doing. And this should be structured, if we do it right, in terms of marketplace where people will be able to launch sidechains, broadcast these newly launched sidechains to the network. Node operators should be able to see these and choose those sidechains to run that are most interesting to them. And from there, that's the point of having many nodes on the system. So nodes to us go beyond maybe nodes to like a classic, a blockchain like Bitcoin, in the sense that we're envisioning this blockchain, the blockchain's ecosystem, and we think we're going to need a lot of nodes to be able to support the capacity that we're building out.
Thank you, Rob. Okay, so I guess that's a wrap. Thank you, everyone, for attending our weekly Insider. Remember, we do this every Monday to bring you the latest Horizen updates. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good week, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.